Everybody, welcome to another video. Today we are live recording this at the same time that I'm streaming so that it's ready to go up in the evening. Although it'll be a new day for some of you quite soon, or if it isn't already. Time zones. Anyway, so let's discuss a few things. As you can see, unfortunately, my luck not super great today, as I was not able to get the vision card quite easily. Don't know if I'll keep trying for it, because this VC is probably going to be pretty damn strong when we get right down to it. It goes perfectly with a very strong fire team on JP, which is, of course, Volk, Sephiroth, the new version, of course, and Soul is the party that this goes perfectly with. Also works quite nicely with a bunch of other spear characters, works nicely with even some range characters too, as giving them a opportunity to get some extra human killer off of it. So this VC, even though its bonuses are essentially for quest and not PvP, is generally pretty nice, and I think that this is maybe my favorite of the VCs. It may end up just being the strongest over time, but of the Advent Children VCs. But of course, that depends on characters and everything, so we're not going to touch too much on that. But either way, seems like a nice VC. Let's move on, shall we? And so, the next thing we are going to discuss is some character upgrades today. Some Limit Bursts and some Master Quest 2. So let's start with the easier ones. Master Quest 2, starting off with Raff. Raff, when she gets her level 80 upgrade now, her HP limit is increased by 15%. I'm taking this information, of course, from Wotv Ultima, not Wotv Calc, because Wotv Calc is not updated yet. But anyway, Raff, 15% HP increase, reduces her own physical damage by 10%. And gives herself an effect of reducing physical damage taken by allies within an area around herself, diamond of 4, for 5 turns at the start of battle. Quite a long one. It is a permanently active one, which is pretty nice. Goes for a good amount of time, and overall, really generally properly fitted for this character. I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out. I don't think that she still compares enough to some of the other units, but she's much better than she was before, and maybe good enough, actually. Maybe I'm underestimating this, but Raff, glad to see that she ended up getting a nice Master Quest 2 upgrade. Next up is Ayu, and this character, AP acquisition up by 30%. I'm a little weirded out by that, because master abilities, he's get 60% bonus AP increase now, which it seemed wrong, because originally I read this as 30% for his level 40, and now level 80 gets another 30. That must be a typo. No, it's actually 60% cumulative now, which is a lot of extra AP. Also, his own physical damage goes up by 15%, and he gives an effect of reducing the target's reaction prevention rate for 5 turns when an attack hits, or 5 turns from the start of battle, which is interesting way of reading this. Basically, if he, from the start of battle for 5 turns, if he hits an opponent, target's reaction rate prevention rate for 3 turns gets reduced, which is interesting. It does give him a little bit of a unique flavor that other characters don't have. Ayu is one that I've heard globalers speak well of. I've never used mine too terribly much. Him with Sephiroth might have some properties, so being able to actually use it, it depends on how much you're actually getting, because I don't have the specific numbers, but it's at the very least interesting. Okay, and the last one is Garzak, the Earth Element. This is a character that I really don't use, but I do see some other use, and he's pretty good for just, selection quest in general for the Earth Elemental one. So magic power up by 20 gives an effect that of reducing physical damage the further away the target is for you. So Squall's effect. So this one definitely the least interesting. Raff seems actually almost a little bit too good, but I'm happy to see her get an upgrade to potentially bring her back into the conversation of tanks. And in general, when we're talking about Hayu also is pretty interesting. So a good batch of Master Quest 2 this time. Now, we're going to jump into Limit Bursts, and we have 3 Limit Bursts to talk about. Let's start with the one that I think won't terribly matter too much, which is this guy. AP consumption down now, reduces elemental chain resistance for targets within range for 3 turns, absorbs part of the damage dealt, seals barrier destruction for 3 turns, and creates a barrier to reduce physical damage. The range on this ability has not changed, and I do not think this character stands up at all against the other type of physical characters that exist now. I haven't seen this character be really too relevant. I kill him when I see him in arena quite easily, and that isn't too terribly often. I think that this is just a pass kind of thing, 100%. Moving on. Next up is Ibarra, who I have somewhere. There she is. Sweet. Ibarra's is now AP consumption down, greatly reduces lightning resistance for 3 turns, extra large damage, healing power is also decreased, and reduces elemental chain resistance. Much in the same way as talking about the previous dark elemental character that we just saw. Elemental chain resistance is not exciting at all. Reducing healing power is nice, but wouldn't it be cool if there was a character who could just shut down healing? Yeah, not super excited about that. Lightning reduction is like resistance reduction is pretty common, so unless a new character comes along to really help Ibarra shine through, no. Also, mages are dead right now, and thunder mages doubly so. So, moving on. And next, and I do realize that Quoblers, the whole June water thing, don't care. Earth Veritas might be a thing eventually, but Killer Earthmont, yeah, it's a thing. So, moving on. And the last character to talk about is this guy, Sadali. Sadali is the one that I was the most interested going into this update, and coming out of this update, I think that he actually showed out the best for the Limit Burst upgrades. Reduces a target single attack resistance by a certain percentage, absorbs a portion of the damage dealt, and greatly increases his own debuff resistance for 3 turns. Not too worried about debuff, given how strong other characters are right now. Sadali could just die anyway, so okay, I guess. But yeah, absorbing some is kind of nice, and reducing single target by a percentage is very good. So yeah, Sadali ends up being the best, but also just because I think the other 2 characters are borderline unusable with what the current standard looks like. And the only other way, the only super way that I see this character is being used is with certain other very strong characters. So I don't think his Limit Burst is going to make him stand on his own, but it does enough to at least be interesting. Sadali an asshole. Nah, never mind. The only other thing is currently we do on JP have the Trial of Reckoning, where these are the bonus units and the bonus VCs. So I'll just scroll gently through, so you can pause if you want to see a specific VC or specific character for bonuses to get ready in the future if you care so much as it is. Go. And the bonus this time is, if I can remember where to click and how to find it generally fast enough. I just saw it. Cloud's Phone is the bonus this time, giving AP generation up as well as some attack resistance, I think. I scrolled a little bit too fast there, but here Cloud is essentially getting more defensive and reaction block. Tifa's getting human killer and accuracy, and Sephiroth is getting, and Kadaj, because let's face it, they're the same character, are getting essentially damage increase, as well as I think some just type chain bonus for resistances. Generally okay. Me personally, I think one copy of this, given how synergistic a lot of the characters feel together, feels probably well enough. Maybe two if you're going Kadaj and Sephiroth, but even I don't think that's necessarily worth it. Yeah, so anyway, that's the JP update. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.